Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back. So for today's video, we're going to be ranking Monster High ships for a second time. So if you are newer here, you might not know this, but I did already make this video like at least a year ago. I want to say it has definitely been quite some time. And the reason I'm doing it twice is because something vital has changed. I've actually seen the Monster High media. So that first video of me ranking Monster High ships, I actually did with the intention of making this video at some point. Like I always knew that there was going to be a part two to that video because I wanted to react to the ships with the very minimal knowledge that I had of the different characters, basically just from like tangentially understanding things from being online or like reading the diaries, but I'd never consumed the webisodes or the movies or anything like that that Monster High has produced that like is a concrete characterization of the different dolls. And so I thought it'd be cool to do a ship ranking before I watched everything and then after. And we are finally at the after point. I watched most of the Monster High webisodes from G1. I watched as many of the movies as I could force myself to sit through. And I did just finish up watching season 1 of the G3 show, which I'm not going to be doing a review on just because you guys don't seem to be like the most keen on my reviews. And that's chill. Like I'm not offended or anything. Y'all like what you like. If you want the short version of my opinion, I definitely think it feels like it's aimed at kids because it is, but I also think it's extremely cute. I feel like the characters are very well written and it feels really cohesive as a show. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is that now I know the characters, like I've seen them interact and I feel more qualified to do a ship ranking. And so we're going to be seeing how it was like before versus how it is now and like kind of comparing and contrasting how my thoughts on these ships are now that I've like actually been able to see the characters talk to each other on screen. So hopefully this will be super fun. I have been excited to do this video for a very long time. Hopefully you guys will be just as excited. Really quick, if I seem less enthused or like just less put together than normal, I'm sick again. I'm actually doing better at this point than like I was the last couple of days. I wanted to film this video 2 days ago and that's when I got sick. I'm not a healthy person. So I'm sorry if my energy seems a little bit low. I promise I'm doing okay. I'm on the up and up, but like, what can you do? I'm still in a little bit of pain, still not feeling my best. So I just wanted to put that out there so that if I seem off, you guys know that nothing is wrong. I'm not like upset about this video or anything, or like nothing is deeply inherently wrong in my life. I just get ill sometimes. But back to the point of this video, I'm going to put up on screen what my old Monster High ship ranking looked like so you guys can take a little look at, familiarize yourself with it, whether you've seen it before and you just need a refresher or like you're just seeing this video and you don't know how I rank them in the first one. I'll also have the first one like linked in the card somewhere if you want to see my thoughts on that and you haven't before. But yeah, most of it was kind of in like the mid tiers. I only had a couple of ships that I felt very strongly about. A few that I was like, I definitely dislike this more. But like overall kind of mid-range, which I do think makes sense because obviously if I don't know the characters concretely, I probably am going to feel pretty mid about most of the ships. So this one might be a bit more polarizing. I don't actually know because I haven't like gone through and looked through all of them. Like I've tried to keep myself very um, far away from thinking about the ships, if that makes sense, because I wanted this video to be like my first gut reaction. So this could be an interesting one. Hopefully it will entertain you guys. If you do find yourself enjoying, if you could like, comment, subscribe, all that typical stuff. I also have my wish list and PO box in the description if you want to go out of your way to support me. But with that, I'll shut up about not important things and we can start talking about Monster High ships. Just a tiny heads up for those of you who are familiar with my ranking videos, you know that I usually do this in a certain format, but some technological issues have forced me to edit this in a different way than normal, so I hope you are able to still enjoy it. Alrighty, so we are using the same tiers as last time. The top tier is OTP. Obviously, the second tier is I ship it. Then the third tier is I see it for like, I don't actively ship that ship. I'm going to say ship so many times this video, oh my gosh. But I can understand why people do. Then we have better as friends for ships that I really don't see it. Like I don't understand why people would ship it. I think that they are truly just friends. And then just know for the ones that I really actively dislike. Now, I should have given a better disclaimer. As always, these are my opinions. You're free to disagree. Just be nice about it. I love shipping. Part of my favorite thing about indulging in media is shipping different characters. I just think it's fun. I've always been this way. So I do think I might have stronger feelings this time. And I feel like I might be more polarizing this time. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But like I take shipping very seriously. So you know, just I guess be warned for that. But we are going to start off with a classic that is Gen 1, Cleo and Deuce. Now, this is hard because, like, they are a classic couple for Monster High. Like, they're one of the couples I think people think of automatically. It helps that they are canon. But if I'm being completely honest with myself, I didn't really love Cleo as a character in Gen 1 of Monster High. I know her whole thing was that she was supposed to be kind of a mean girl, and that's fine. And it's not that I don't think that that sort of character has a purpose or like is a bad character to have, but she's just not a character that I personally really liked. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I think I can still see it. I do think that Deuce actively makes Cleo a better person. Now, like, what is he getting out of that relationship is a different conversation. I think I'm going to put this in I see it. I don't know where I ranked it before, which is like funny. Maybe I'll flash on screen if I'm really feeling fancy with the editing where I ranked like the couples beforehand. I did add a couple of extra ones in, but like maybe I'll do that for the ones that were there before. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think we're putting them in I see it because I can still understand why people ship them. And I think that Cleo has the potential to like evolve as a person and become better. And like, therefore, their relationship can get better. But as is, I'm just kind of like, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Then we have Laguna and Gil, and I just recently posted a whole video about why I don't think that Gil is as bad as people say that he is. I don't think that he is a terrible boyfriend. I think that they are both navigating an extremely complicated situation, and like he's definitely not perfect, but he's not the worst. And I feel like this is controversial. But like through having made that video, I think that it just cemented that I think this is a fairly decent couple. I definitely wouldn't call them my OTP. Like I don't feel that strongly about it, but I do kind of think they're cute. So I'm gonna put it in I ship it, which I know that's controversial, but like here I am. Then we have Gulia and Slow Mo, and for this one, watching the show actually didn't help at all because I feel like out of the kind of main characters, Gulia is characterized the least. Like, I just don't feel like she gets that much attention, and Slow Mo gets little to no attention. Like, he's barely existent, if we're being honest. So I'm gonna put them in not because I think it's inherently a bad ship, but just because I genuinely don't have feelings. I don't. Maybe that's mean. Maybe I shouldn't do that because Ed does have like a negative connotation. It's towards the bottom. We'll put them in I see it because I can get it. Like again, they are a canon couple. I just don't know that much about them still. Then we have Claude and Draculaura, and this one is so difficult because most of the time I think that Claude is a 10 out of 10 boyfriend. His character was ruined in Friday Night Fights. Like they really turned around and said, oh yeah, this loving doting man, no, he hates women now. Disgusting. And then it's kind of the same thing with Draculaura. Like some movies like Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love made me dislike her, but then other movies like I always forget the name of this one, Frights Camera Action, I thought she was amazing in Frights Camera Action. So it's hard for me to get a hold on how I feel with these two characters separately, let alone together, because I do think that, you know, if you don't know really what each character stands for individually, how are you supposed to know how they interact as a couple? So I think I'm going to put this in I see it, just because if you take the best of them, I would put them much higher, like maybe even OTP if they're at their best, but they're definitely not always at their best. So I think that needs to really bump them down. Then we have Frankie and Jackson. And I mean, on the one hand, I don't like either of these characters. So maybe they belong together. But also, why would I ship two characters that I don't like? Y'all, I've made no secret about the fact that I really don't like Gen 1 Frankie. I've thought about making a video dedicated to why I don't like Gen 1 Frankie. And watching the webisodes and the movies, I didn't like Jackson. I also did not like Holt. So there's that. Yeah, I think inherently this has to go into just no because I frankly don't want to think about either of them ever, let alone them being together. Right on the heels of that, Frankie and Holt, pretty much the same conversation. Obviously, Holt has a vastly different personality, but I still didn't like him, so I feel like I'm ruffling feathers left and right with this one. Next up is Abby and Heath. This is another one that is kind of hard because Heath just, literally every single movie, he started off just being really rude and very misogynistic. And towards the end of the movie, he would become a better person and kind of like be nicer. And you think that he's having character growth, but just kidding. He's going to repeat that cycle every single movie. So it's just really frustrating because I think this could be a great couple. I just think that Heath never got the development that he deserved. Like, he kept developing, and then the writers would just be like, just kidding, we're going to retcon that. He's actually still a horrible person. And that's not fair to him as a character to not be allowed to have that development. And also, it makes me hesitant to be like, yeah, he should date Abby, because the worst version of Heath does not deserve my queen, Abby. She's amazing. But, like, does the best version of him deserve her? Quite possibly. Actually, I think they're really cute in, like, the best terms. I think I'm going to put it in I ship it, because I'm just going to go, like, benefit of the doubt and assume that this is Heath at his best. And in that case, I do think they're quite cute together. Spectra and Porter. I don't remember where I put them in the last video, the last time I did this, but I feel like I didn't know how strongly I would feel about them. They are so, they're so cute together. Haunted was one of my favorite Monster High movies that I ended up watching. I just thought that it was, compared to others, very well written. We actually got to have some character development. And these two were so cute. It's so good. I'm trying to... Are they an OTP? Do I go that far? Do I like them that much? I don't think so. I don't think I'm quite there, but I definitely ship it. And this would be like a high ship it. They're cute. Claudine and Draculaura. Honestly, this, having watched everything, feels very unrequited. Like, it definitely, I never ever got the vibe from Draculaura that she might be interested in Claudine. I can absolutely see why people think that Claudine likes Draculaura. Even this image that I picked is very like, oh, Claudine is the one who's like having these feelings. I don't think Draculaura sees Claudine as anything but a friend, which, you know, sad for Claudine if she did have feelings for Drac, but like, I just absolutely don't. So I'm going to put them in better as friends, because I do think they have a cute friendship, but like, I think their relationship is absolutely one-sided if it is like a romantic thing. Next up is Howleen and Twyla, and I simply cannot abide by this because I liked Twyla. I thought she was a fun character while she was on screen. I don't think she got enough screen time because I feel like she deserved more. I don't like Howleen. I didn't like her actions. She just seemed like whiny and bratty at best, and at worst, she seemed like an ultimately bad person. So yeah, this is gonna have to go in just no. Like, I can't even put them as better as friends because I don't think that Howleen was a good friend to Twyla. So like, ugh. Okay. Drac and Kiyomi. I think I said this in the first version of this video. I'm probably going to be repeating myself a lot. But obviously, within the real world, I would hope that everyone gets to be in nice, healthy, respected relationships. Like, I want to make that so clear that in the real world, this dynamic is maybe a bit iffy because Kiyomi was like low-key stalking Draculaura. However, in the world of fiction, that's my favorite. I love like questionable actions in the world of fiction. Because it's fiction, like, it's fine, it's different. Yeah, I still think this is cute. I think I ranked this highly before, but I ship it. I think they're precious together. And also in that case, like with that Draculaura ship, I do think that, which is crazy because Dracula was only with Kiyomi, or like only interacted with Kiyomi a few times versus how many times she interacts with Claudine. But I feel like Dracula was more into Kiyomi than Claudine. So, rip. Then we have Caddy and Seth, which is definitely cute. I don't think I have really any strong feelings about it at all. Like, as a canon ship, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It's cute. It's fine. I wasn't upset seeing them on screen whatsoever. Like, with their blossoming romance, I just don't feel that strongly about it. So I'm going to put it in I see it because I totally can understand why people ship that. It's just, you know, it doesn't elicit strong emotions in me. Rochelle and Garrett. Oh, this is hard. Some of these are difficult because I do feel like both characters just don't get that much characterization. Rochelle gets a little bit more than Garrett, but Garrett, like, doesn't, you know, like, he isn't on screen enough for me to know that much about his character, which is so funny because the whole point of doing this video was like, oh, I'll know so much more about the characters that I can rank them better the second time around after I've seen the movies. And like, turns out that's not always the case. But I mean, they do seem good together. He definitely seems like he feels very strongly about Rochelle. Like, he's very sweet to her. He does a lot of romantic gestures. I don't think that I feel necessarily strongly. If you had asked me right after I watched Scarus, I would have been like, oh, they're cute, I ship it. But at this point, I think I just kind of see it. Cleo and Gulia, I've got to say, absolutely not. Again, Cleo did not have like a personality that I personally resonated with in the webisodes and like in the movies and everything. I know her and Gulia are supposed to be like super tight friends, and that's great for them. However, even as friends, Cleo is so mean to her. Like, so mean to Gulia. And so I can't even say better as friends because I think it's a toxic friendship. I think that Gulia is not being treated like that nicely by Cleo. And like, maybe this is wrong of me to rank this lower when I rated Cleo and Deuce as being higher. I don't know. I guess I feel like with Deuce, Cleo sometimes has moments where she seems to act more like humane, you know, as appropriate as that word is when discussing monsters. I feel like he kind of brings her down to earth and makes her a better person. And I do feel like Gulia has a couple of occasions like that, but I feel like for the most part, Cleo just takes advantage of Gulia. You know, like I feel like it's just a little bit worse. I'm not going to put this in all the way in just no, but I am going to put it in because it doesn't feel great. Nathan and Frankie, I mean, I've already said I'm not really a fan of Frankie. I think I said when I was doing my video ranking the characters themselves that Nathan gave me weird vibes. He does. So that's also going to go into just no. The whole just no is going to be just G1 Frankie shit. Okay, Dracula and Valentine. Definitely a toxic situation. Absolutely not good for them to be together. I know that Valentine, like, kind of post movie, post Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love, has gotten a lot of development as a character, and there's like a whole comic and everything. I haven't read the comic. I can only consume so much media. Like, I can only do so much. But like, I know that there's a whole thing with him. We're gonna get into it later. But ultimately, these two are very, very bad for each other as like a romantic interest. However, I do stand by what I think I said in my first video doing this. I think I said that after Valentine kind of like heals himself and apologizes and like redeems himself, I think that they could be good friends. And I still stand by that. Like, I think that once he moves past his toxic behavior, if he can really and genuinely apologize to Draculaura, I feel like they could be good friends. So obviously they're going in better as friends. Next up is Claude and Deuce. Sorry for some of these images. I don't know. I gathered these ages ago. Like, these are all the same images that I did the first time. And I think it was just hard sometimes to find like the images that I wanted. But anyway, Claude and Deuce, I really truly don't see it. Like, I didn't see any hints of like anything beyond friendship in all of their interactions in all of the movies and everything. They're cute as friends though. Like, I think that they are good bros, and so they go into better as friends. Deuce and Rochelle. This one is harder because I am a sucker for the idea that he can look at her, like look her in the eyes, and it doesn't matter because she's already stoned. Like, that whole concept alone is enough for this to have made it into my OTP tier last time. However, since then, I don't think I knew this when I first did that video, but since then I have found out that Rochelle like is actively in love with Deuce and like has a whole thing for him, but also she is canonically dating Garrett, so like it does feel like there's a little bit of emotional infidelity going on there, which is not super chill. So it's hard for me because like I love the concept, but I don't like that part, you know, like I don't like the emotional cheating aspect. Sad. Like, I want to get past that so badly. Like, I want to just be like, okay, well, maybe this is like a different point in time where she's broken up with Garrett, so it's not that. But like, I'm always going to have that in my head, right? So I think that's going to knock them down from OTP to I ship it, because I still think that whole concept is beyond precious. But like, I can't not think about that, you know? Okay, next up we have G3, Deuce and Frankie. No. Mm-mm. I don't know what I said about this last time, because it's been a while, okay? Like, my memory is not that good. I don't know what I said last time, but they are definitely better as friends. Like, this is not something I could ever ship. Good friends. Not for me, not a good relationship. Then we have Manny and Iris, and I frankly just don't get this. Like, Manny is so awful in literally every movie, and he does get some of the same like redemption as Heath. Like, he is kind of in the same sort of situation where he's like constantly awful and then constantly being redeemed. But I feel like Heath gets it more. Like, I feel like Manny just kind of goes along with it. I don't ever get the sense that Manny actually thinks that he was being wrong, if that makes sense. So I cannot imagine wanting like to ship him with anyone because he's just so rude to everybody. Like, he's so disrespectful, especially to women. Like, no, I'm gonna put this in to give room for if he did actually redeem himself, but right now it's just kind of icky. Rebecca and Elizabeth, I just don't see this. I don't get it. I honestly like feel like this would be a little bit weird, and it's hard because like I know that monster ages like all vary. So like 1600 for a vampire is like 16 for a werewolf. Like, I understand that they age at different rates, but I feel like because Elizabeth had a hand in creating Rebecca, like she gave the vampire heart to God, what's his name? Hezekiah Steam, and like he put it inside Rebecca when he was creating her. I just feel like that's weird. To be like, yes, I helped create you, date me, which Frankie who dude, I don't even know if that's on here. But like I don't, just something about that doesn't work for me. I definitely think that they are better as friends. Okay, this is a poly relationship, little polycule here between Dracula, Claudine, and Frankie. And I will say what I said in the last video because my thoughts on this haven't changed at all. I personally do not have it in me to feel polyamorous feelings. Like, that's just not something that my brain does. I have absolutely no problem with people who are ethically non-monogamous. Like, if everyone involved knows and everyone involved is okay with it, that's not my place to be like, ew, bad. Like, I don't care as long as everyone's happy and everyone is like in the know. It's super chill. So I don't have anything against polyamory, but because I can't personally feel that, I think I have a very hard time shipping in that way because it's just not an emotion that I understand. So I don't have an issue with this. Like, it's not an inherent like icky thing. I just don't get it. And so I'm going to put them in better as friends. Next up, we have Kiyomi and Spectra. And like, I know in Haunted they say that they were friends before, and like, so they have a history, and I can see why people would extrapolate from that and be like, oh yeah, this is a cute ship, but I just don't see it at all in a romantic way, so this is popping into better as friends. Okay, Laguna and Venus. I truly don't know where this came from, unless it was the freaky fusion. Maybe that was it. Because did they? No, but they aren't even the ones that fused. That was Laguna and Genifire. Because I was like, oh, maybe they fused and like people got it. Nope, but it's not even that. I don't understand. I like this one seems just a bit random to me. Again, like, no shade to you if you ship this. It's fine, but like I just don't see it. So I'm putting them in better as friends. I have a sneaking suspicion that better as friends is gonna fill up right quick. This one though, G3 Frankie and Cleo, a little bit of clanky action here. I think this is cute. This was something I was really looking forward to getting to see while watching the G3 cartoon, and watching it unfold was really sweet, super cute. They are going to be the first ones to go up into OTP. I thought that was absolutely precious. G3, Claudine, and Deuce. Specifically, the live action version. Because, like, you know, there's so many different canons of Monster High at this point. But specifically the live action version, I wasn't bothered by this. Like, I thought it was fine in the first movie. I actually couldn't finish the second live action movie. Part of it might have just been that I wasn't in a great mood when I tried to watch it, but like, I definitely think it was a lot worse than the first one. So we didn't really get to see, or at least I shouldn't say we, I didn't really get to see their relationship blossom and see how that would turn out. But from the first movie, I didn't think it was bad. I don't think I feel that strongly about it. I'm going to put it in I see it though, because like, I get it. It's fine. G3, Laguna, and Draculaura, again with the really bad screenshots. I don't know. Here we are. I do think that this is kind of cute. I feel like it's a sweet thing. Draculaura is kind of the first one to, I guess, bridge the gap, because at the beginning of the series, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, spoilers for everything, I guess I should have said. Oh well. But Laguna is like kind of separate from the others. She's kind of more in with Toralei, and like she's definitely not part of like the main crew at first. And Dracula is kind of the first one to bridge that gap and like befriend her, and then she, you know, becomes more of like the main cast. So I get why people ship this. I kind of see it. I definitely don't feel super strongly. I thought I was going to feel more strongly about it after their first interaction, but then it just kind of fizzled for me. I'm going to put it in I see it because I understand why people like them. I just, it's whatever. Viperine and Honey Swamp. Hmm. I don't know. I don't have anything bad to say about this ship. I don't think I feel strongly, but I feel like I'm going to put it and I see it because, like, I kind of get it. Like, Viperine is a makeup artist and hello, Honey Swamp. Why did I just forget her name? Honey Swamp wants to work in the movie business, so I could feel like they would interact or like work on set and it'd be cute. I can see it. I don't feel strongly about it. Rebecca and Venus. I feel like this has to be some sort of like opposites thing where it's Rebecca is, technology and like all of that, and then Venus is obviously very, very natural. I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. To be fair, I feel like Venus had no characterization whatsoever. Like she just existed. Like that was genuinely it. So that doesn't help. I'm gonna say better as friends. Porter and Invisibility. Did they even interact? Like at all? Not to my memory. Maybe they did. If they did, it was like a one-liner. So I'm gonna put this in just because I can't even say better as friends because first of all, I don't know anything about invisibility. But second of all, I just don't think they had any interactions. Like I can't call them friends. Viperine and Elizabeth, kind of the same vibes as Viperine and Honey Swamp, where it's like she does the makeup and then Elizabeth is an actress. So like I can see that. I get it again. Don't feel strongly, so we're gonna put it in. I see it. Wisp and Valentine. I kind of inherently know because Valentine is now canonically gay. So like, there's that to contend with. I also just I don't know. I don't know if I'm that big on like villain and villain ships, especially because they don't interact almost ever. Like, I think there's some little diary thing about them meeting with the set that came out for them, but like on the webisodes and everything, they never actually meet. I'm gonna say just no. I don't feel good about that one. Okay, this time we have another poly ship between Venus, Rochelle, and Rebecca. And again, no problem with polyamory, but I just don't get it, so it's going in better as friends. Rochelle and Viperine. Okay. This is giving the same as Deuce and Rochelle, but like kind of minus that toxic element just because Rochelle isn't actively expressing interest in Viperine while she's dating someone else. So this truly could be post Garrett. Like this could be actually different. I'm gonna put it in I ship it. I think it's cute. Again, it's just the concept of like she can look into her eyes and it's fine. But I like it because it doesn't have that same like toxic mindset to it. I just can't put it in OTP because like I actually don't think they ever interact. So there's that. I feel like I'm being very inconsistent this video with like what I like and what I don't like. I don't know. I just have feelings. Cupid and Abby, I really well and truly don't understand where this came from. Again, if you ship it, that's chill. I don't understand, and I don't even see them really as friends. So I'm gonna put them in Claudine and Toralei, specifically for G1. I know this has since become canon, and that's like a whole other can of worms that I could open up that I don't want to go on that tangent in this video. I don't feel like this is the time or place for it. You know what? No, I'm going to go on the tangent. I am obviously not against queer representation in any way. Like, I think that's fantastic. However, I do think that it is less helpful to go back and retroactively say, hey, yeah, these characters way back when, they were queer, or like they're queer now, and here's like a new tie-in comic. Kudos to the people who made the comic. Like, I'm not hating on any of the artistry involved there. I'm just saying I don't think that that's inherently helpful to retroactively go back and be like, yes, here's the representation. And it's like, okay, but it wasn't there a decade ago. Like, it wasn't there when the show was actively airing, when it actually mattered. Sorry. But like, as good as it is now, like, I'm not mad that it's happening now, but I do feel like it's just not helpful. I feel like the representation in the G3 show matters so much more because it's actively airing. Like, having a non-binary person in Frankie, or having a queer relationship with Frankie and Cleo, or, G3 Toralei and Claudine is something that people are theorizing. that means so much more because it's actually coming out and it's something that is actively being consumed by people, and it's like fresh media. Like that matters. And so again, not to say that it doesn't matter to have representation in old media, or not to say that I'm mad about it, but it does just feel like the effort is going to the wrong place, because why are you putting so much effort into retroactively basically retconning your old media to say, hey, yeah, this is actually secretly more representative than you thought it was at the time, instead of putting that effort into putting more representation into your current show. And I do know that they are putting a lot of their representation into the current show. Like, I'm not saying the current show is suffering for it. I don't know. I guess to me, it's just like, instead of trying to fix something that existed 10 years ago and trying to say that it was better than it was, or like it's now better than it was, I feel like we should focus on what's actually actively being produced. Because if we're being honest, at the time, Gen 1 Monster High did not have queer representation. Like, it was hinted at, but it was never something that was allowed to be explicit and extreme. And I think that we need to accept that. Like, I think I'm really, really going off, but I really think that we need to accept that instead of trying to make G1 something that it wasn't, because it wasn't representative at the time. Just because it's more representative now, because people are like making new canons for it, doesn't change the fact that when it first came out, it did not have that representation. And so I don't think that it's awful that we're getting that rep now, but I do think we need to be careful to not make it seem like Gen 1 Monster High was this amazing, like, queer centric show, or like the show that had so much queer representation, because it actually didn't. And I think that we need to be focusing on the show that at the time of its production is willing to give that representation, which is the G3 show. Anyway, sorry. I've been bottling that one up for a while. Anyway, G1, Toralei, and Claudine, I don't see it at all. I know it's canon now. That's why I went off on that whole tangent. That's super. Haven't read the comic. Don't plan on reading the comic. I don't see it from like the media that came from like when this was actively being produced, like when G1 was actively in production. I don't see this at all, and I'm going to put it in just no. Sorry, that was a lot. Okay, Invisibility and Spectra. No, I'm going to say Better as Friends. I just don't see it. I'm going to have to start stacking though. I'm already running out. Laguna and Finnegan. Yeah, I don't see it. Like, as much as Laguna is into like sports, and she's like obviously a very active person, Finnegan is like that to the next level, right? Like, he's always super active. Like, he's always looking for an adrenaline rush. And I feel like Laguna is like a little bit more chill, and they could balance each other out. I don't know. I just don't really see this. I'm gonna put it in Batsy and Venus. I know that they both care about the environment, so there's that. But otherwise, I just truly don't. Realistically, once again, it comes down to I don't know anything about these characters, so it's hard for me to ship them. So they're going to go into Better as Friends. Next up, the G3 Drac and Frankie ship. I definitely don't see this one. It could. Okay, it's probably because I'm so violently invested in Clanky. So, like, obviously, it's harder for me to imagine Frankie with someone else. I do think that they have a beautiful friendship, so they get to go in Better as Friends, but yeah, it's not for me. Toralei and Laguna from G1. I really did pick the worst screenshots. Oh my gosh. I do feel like for sure most of this interaction and like the ship comes from Great Scary Reef, which was not the best movie. How do I feel about this? I can see it. I can see why people would ship this, and like I get it. It's not something I love, but I understand it. Claudine and Abby. Better as Friends. I don't get this one. I'm high key running out of room. How many more? Okay, we're almost done. We're gonna make it. We're gonna be fine. Okay, I didn't have Hoodoo and Frankie on here, which is fine. There's definitely ships that I just didn't include because I can only do so many, and with the amount of characters that Monster High has, there are so many ships that you could make. Anyway, though, back to the back to the point here. Operetta and Johnny Spirit. Sure, I guess I see it. Like, I know that they both love music. They both hang out in the catacombs. I just again, like I hate saying this over and over and over because I feel like repeating myself is so boring for you guys. But I don't know anything about Johnny Spirit. Monster High did not do a great job in Gen 1 of characterizing all of its characters, so I see it. Then we have Spectra and Claudine. This is a ship that I made up. I shouldn't say that. I'm sure other people have thought about this, but most of these ships are ones that you guys submitted for the first video. And this is one that I added on myself. So, like, that's what I mean when I say I came up with it. No one asked me to include this in the video. I'm just including it in the video because I think specifically within Haunted, sometimes they're kind of making eyes at each other. When I did my movie review for Haunted, I specifically have a screenshot where I was like, I feel like Spectra is looking at Claudine like, dang, that girl is cute. And that little glance was enough for me to be like, these two kind of fit together. So does it make sense? I don't know, but do I ship it? Yeah. The G3 Tauradine. As I said, I think this is a completely different story than Gen 1. Claudine and Toralei. This one, Toralei actually gets to grow. Like, she started to grow a little bit towards the end of G1, but like much like many other characters that I've discussed, she didn't get to have concrete growth because they needed her to play the villain role. Whereas in G3, she's really allowed to go from being this antagonist to someone who is trying to redeem herself. She apologizes to Draculaura for like interfering with her witchcraft and trying to get her expelled and all of that jazz. Obviously, her and Claudine have like a whole arc. So I get this so much more, and like these feel like more fleshed out characters to me. I don't personally ship it because of something that we're going to get to, but I can absolutely see this one. So it goes and I see it. Then we have Hoodooed and Elizabeth, which is another one that I added on myself. I have talked in a few videos about how much I love Hoodooed, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. There's another video that I plan on doing in the next couple of weeks where I also intend to talk about how cool Hoodooed is as a character. I just think he's nifty. So he has like a fat crush on Elizabeth when she's Veronica Von Vamp, is that her like stage name? He loves her as an actress, and then he like obviously gets to meet her, and it's very cute. And does it make sense? No, mostly this is just because it's my boy Hoodooed, and I just love the idea of him finally getting to find love. So should I put this high? Maybe not, but I do ship it. Okay, then I have to put in Valentine and Spelden, also a comic character, and so like I do have sort of the same feelings that I have about Gen 1 Tauradine, where it's like, can we please just focus on this generation instead of trying to retcon Gen 1? But I know that Valentine was intended to be gay from the start. Like, he was supposed to be going through this conflict. If you read his diary, apparently there's a lot in there that kind of alludes to him having these feelings and like struggling with it. So I feel a little bit better about it because I feel like it was at least hinted at in Gen 1, if that makes sense. And then also because Spelden wasn't a character that appeared on screen in G1, so it feels less like trying to change Gen 1 characters and more just like adding a character, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just feel better about this than I feel about Gen 1 Tauradine. Maybe, you disagree with me. That's chill. Let me know in the comments. We can talk about it. But I feel better about this one, and I'm going to put it into I see it. My battery just died in the middle of me talking about, first of all, my favorite ship, but second of all, a lesbian ship, which I do consider a hate crime. So I guess that means I have to buy a new battery now, which stinks, but like, you got to do what you got to do. Anyway, I want to talk about G3, Draculaura, and Toralei. I started shipping this because of a TikTok that may have been a joke. I don't even know. And I've since lost the TikTok. So if you know what I'm talking about or you made that and you happen to see this, please credit yourself or credit that person in the comments because like they started me on this path and now I feel like I'm here until I die. This is just so cute for no reason. I thought that before, like for some reason it just got me. I just think that they look nice together, and the person in the TikTok specifically pointed out that together they make up the colors of the lesbian flag, and now I can't unsee it, and it's just precious. And even after watching the G3 show, I still get it because I feel like it has a lot of the same vibes as G3, Toralei, and Claudine, where it's kind of like an enemies to lovers sort of situation. But I just think it's cute. Like, I already had a bias towards it. I just like the idea of Toralei redeeming herself. Like I said earlier, like at the beginning, she had a lot of like conflict with Draculaura, with her and like her witchcraft and trying to get her caught and expelled and all that jazz. But as time goes on, she apologizes. They have like a whole episode that's dedicated to them learning how to get along better. And I just think it's cute. Like, will it happen? Almost certainly not, because I do feel like if they're going to do anything with Toralei in terms of like pairing her off, I think it's going to be with Claudine for sure. Also, Draculaura went to the Monster Ball with Claude, so like they're probably doing that still. So I don't think it's going to become canon, but I just think that this is immaculate vibes. I love everything about it. And every Torlai and Draculaura doll in my collection are dating. I don't have them posed the best right now, and I don't even think they're in frame. But like, I have their core dolls posed together, all cuddled up. I want to put, because I have a Draculaura in like the Bratz hanging chair, I want to put a Torlai in there with her so that they can be all snuggly and cute. I just think this is adorable for absolutely no reason. So it's obviously going in OTP. And I ended on this on purpose because it's the best one for me. But that is the entire ranking. A lot more in Better as Friends. To be fair, I did add a few ships this video. So like there are some more total compared to the first one, but I feel like I put a lot more in Better as Friends this time around. I was still nicer than I thought it would be. Just sometimes I feel very, very strongly about ships. Like there are some ships that you come to me and I'm like, get out of my face. I can't talk to you. Not really for Monster High. Like I don't feel that strongly about Monster High ships. But in other franchises, sometimes I feel very strongly. So I was nice this video. That's all I want to say. But yeah, that's the ranking. But yes, guys, that is going to be it for today. I have to make my exit quick before my battery dies a second time. I literally charged it for like 10 minutes and was like, hopefully this is enough to get me through. So yeah, that is my final ranking of these ships for Monster High. I thought this was a really fun exercise to do. Low-key, I want to do the same thing with Ever After High, where I rank their ships before and after watching the Ever After High show. So if that's something you're interested in, please let me know in the comments down below if you think that would be a fun concept, or if you're tired of me talking about this nonsense. Let me know that too. Just be kind. But yeah, very curious to see how you guys feel about these ships and all of that jazz in the comments. So definitely leave your 2 cents down there. But regardless, I hope you had a fun time today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.